4, 3, 2, 1, go. I like
I,
the reverse file name order.
I appreciate that.
Dude, it's reverse boss order. Everything's got to be in reverse.
I like the attention to detail. That's how I know this is quality. So, what are we watching?
So this is a LOTAD of Ocarina of Time reverse boss order. Basically, we start from the final boss of the game, Ganon, and then we end with the first boss of the game, Goma, and there are no other rules other than that.
That's
Oh,
pretty cool.
you have to get to the credits.
Oh. I gotta turn the volume down. That's really loud. So what exactly is a LOTAD again, even though I have it on the side of the screen?
A LOTAD stands for Low Optimized Tool Assisted Demonstration. It is basically a bad task. The idea is that tasks are hard to make and take a lot of time. LOTADs, you put in a lot less effort so that you can show something that's still relatively difficult to do, like some of the tricks that are in this run. You can do frame revenge on those, but then also do like real time or even sped up gameplay on the other parts. So it takes a lot less time to make.
Alright, how's the game audio now? Is this good?
Good thing no one cares about the intro.
Actually, guys, we're about a minute into the first bathroom break if you guys need to
Beg
go.
calls, quiet. Oh my god, audio is so hard, man.
We have like 20 minutes to like perfect the audio situation.
Should we do introductions?
Hey gamers, this is Kita, and today we're going to watch Reverse Boss Order. I didn't make this.
My name is Nerds with Game. I am the author of this LOTAD.
I'm ZFG, I just like this category, and that's why I'm here. And I guess I'm probably streaming it because I'm popular.
It's good to be honest with your viewers. They'll appreciate that. They'll know
Yeah.
how real this TAS is.
You're streaming because we need someone to explain how this game works.
I can sorta do that. Is it really still too low? Man. Alright, this better be good enough. Oops. Alright, here we go. The beginning.
Looks TAS optimal to me so far.
I mean, the only inputs so far have been text mashing and rolls.
Those slide hops look good.
Can we change this to TAS?
You will want to change what you just said in about 2 minutes. Spoilers.
Stay tuned.
Alright, we're getting some rupees. Whoa, what a unique rupee route. So what's going on first? What's the first thing we're doing here?
Well, we're talking to the Kokiri shop owner because we need items. You need items to beat bosses.
Uh-huh.
Insightful.
Now, given that this is reverse boss order, meaning that Goma is the final boss, I assume we're probably not going to the Deku Tree.
Oh, most definitely not. Also, in case you aren't noticing, now the side hops against walls have started.
Yeah, they look
I like
nice.
that.
Oh! Oh, this is interesting.
So this is how you normally leave the forest. I did this on my first playthrough.
Yeah, I think I remember doing this when I was a kid too.
Okay,
My dad
to
who works at
explain,
Nintendo told me about it.
really, my uncle at Nintendo told me about that.
Whoa.
Are you
Um,
related?
to explain what just happened, that is a trick called down A escape. Basically, um, when you're about to climb on a vine, you have one frame of inputs, and you can do certain actions to keep you off the vine, but still in a vine climbing state. And one of the things that happens in a vine climbing state is that if you mash Z, your camera gets stuck, and any actors or NPCs off camera aren't updated. So we kept Pokey off camera so that we could just go right through him.
And if you like that, consider this just a precursor for the monstrosity this run will become.
Oh, to explain the side hopping. So BizHawk has Lua support. So I had a script that would automatically mash text boxes for me. So I didn't have to worry about them. So the majority of all text boxes are closed frame perfectly. There are a couple exceptions in really laggy areas where that didn't work, in which case you see a blue box or the blue triangle for a few frames. And then a little bit at the end, which I'll explain later. For side hopping, I also had a script to side hop frame perfectly for me. But changing angles, I still had to do manually.
Question about the text one. Did you only do A for that?
So this initial version, I updated that script as I went along. In the beginning part of the game, it would just try and press B on one of the first frames. It was drawing the text box to trying to get quick text. As I went through the game, I learned more of how the text box works and was able to have it get quick text on the first possible quick text frame.
Okay.
I have a very
I did
important
notice
question.
one text box during the Sarius cutscene.
Didn't we talk to the owl there? Is it not skippable?
It is skippable, but that would require getting the sword. Oh, equipping the sword, which messes something up in about a minute. Alternatively, I could have bought a second stick, which would require very slow ESS to go through that owl. And then, well, I would have had to buy 2 sticks because there's another owl I'm about to skip.
I have a
So yeah.
follow-up question. No, I don't. But that's why we talked to this owl, right? So I guess I did have a follow-up question.
Yeah, I mean, it would have just... I mean, so this ends up being... I mean, so for this, again, it's low optimized, so I didn't put too much effort into trying to make it optimal, so I just did, one stick and one stick and 5 nuts is more than enough to start out with.
Now this is TAS movement.
Love this
Oh yeah,
movement.
I forgot how bad this was. The LOTAD
Oh, we got some
pod.
Z-sliding though. Z-sliding action.
Oh yeah, Z-slides are really easy to do, so I just did them wherever I felt like it. To answer the question in chat, yes,
Good.
I know you're supposed to. I later learned you're supposed to just walk into the cuckoo instead of throwing a nut at it, but whatever.
No, I like it. I like it.
Sorry, but I was trying to do 3 times now. To answer the question in chat, I started this LOTAD on the 5th of this month. So like 3 paws took almost a year to make. This took 2 weeks and change.
To be fair, I don't think ZFG's ever done Kuko's faster than this.
Yeah, this is definitely better than me.
Oh, the cuckoo is on the railing. That just happened by accident, so I kept it in. I did not intend for that at all.
I handed Quint Stevens the controller for this segment. Hope you guys don't mind. Also, for those that don't know, you get a bottle for doing this side quest.
Kita, spoilers.
Okay, this is pertinent information. Like, even Jonathan Bad would want to know what you're doing out of this. They want to know why this is relevant before they
Is
just close the stream.
is Jonathan Bad the guy that we're gonna refer to as the person that doesn't know anything this time, instead of John or whatever his name was for Three Paws?
It's the same guy. He hasn't learned anything in the past year.
Oh, we should fix that.
Alright, so now we're in Bomb of the Well. That's pretty cool.
Oh, so in case you guys can't tell, this is 1.0 because I just did blank A. Interesting thing about that blank A, the angle or the analog stick input I did to get that angle was very close to diagonal. So on some controllers, you may not need to do the current setup. You might be able to just do an angle change like that.
I might actually try that.
There you have it. Speedrun optimizations can be found anywhere.
Even in a LOTAD like this.
Oh, so I really wanted this Deku stick. So I'm not save warping out.
Interesting.
I'll allow that.
And then it also ended up being later on that I didn't need the Deku stick after all, so it was just a complete waste of time.
That was
Oh.
definitely a spoiler. I was gonna wait the entire time to see how you use that DQ stick.
I mean, I ended up using it just because,
Well, don't tell me. I
No
will
spoilers, no
eagerly awaited it.
no,
Eagerly.
I mean, because I got it here, I just found a place to use the second stick somewhere
Okay.
later on.
Now I know what you're all thinking. How is this man gonna get to Ganon without Goma? The very intended way of getting to Ganon. I only brought that up so that you have it in the back of your mind, because this is reverse boss order. I don't actually know the answer. So we all have to stay tuned.
I saw it mentioned in chat, so I'll just bring it up. Yes, this is a 1.0 ROM being run on emulators, and I am using 1.0 only tricks. However, I did my best to not do any emu glitches. So I did my best to make all hovers not emu only void hovers. There's sorry, there are maybe 3 hovers that are questionable whether or not they're emu only void hovers, but it only ended up saving 1 bomb, so I just left it in.
I like this movement.
I love them.
Oh yeah, I just Z-slided with the speed from the walking in animation, or yeah, the walking in animation. I just find that hilarious, so I just did it.
I like the casual walk through the market too. You don't want to wake anyone up.
Dude, it's almost nighttime. They'll get mad and call the guards.
Yeah, also about the emulator thing, that's mostly for real-time speedruns. Like, TASs usually don't care that much. I mean, they, like, attempt to make them generally close to console, but it's not that big of a deal if a TAS or LOTAD uses emulator stuff.
I mean, I did my best to make this doable on console. Like, there were only those 3 hovers, and I guess a little bit of a graphics glitch that happened a little later just because of the graphics plugin I'm using. But other than that, this should be exactly how it would appear on console.
So because you used a setup to skip the door of time, I'm assuming that it's optimal to do that setup?
No, I just didn't want to take the time to figure out what the angle and position I need to get.
Alright, we've all seen this cutscene before.
Yeah, there's the second boss.
Oh, here's bathroom break number 2. The intro was the first one.
You should specify what kind of bathroom break. Like, I don't want people, like, rushing to take their piss.
This is like a 3 or 4 minute bathroom break.
This is a very casual bathroom break. Don't need to use your speedrun strats here.
This is I'm gonna go to the bathroom and browse Reddit before I come back. Bathroom
And wash
break.
your hands.
Oh, and wash your hands. That's just gross.
People that browse Reddit while using the bathroom do not wash their hands. They're 2 different people.
That's
There's 2 kinds of
probably
people
true.
in this world.
Alright, so to recap, child, it's just got Ocarina, got Bottle, got Bomb Shoes. Pretty important stuff. Not too much else.
Danny's in chat, so I'll just mention this now. As child, Link is normally fine. However, look at adult Link's left ear when he comes on camera, of course.
I'm eagerly awaiting this ear. I don't see anything.
It should be his left ear is pierced, which it wasn't as child. Or it might be the right ear. I might have it backwards.
Wait, that's canon. I thought you were talking about like some sort of emulator glitch.
Yeah, come on, everyone knows that.
Oh no, I was just pointing out the fact that Child Link doesn't have his ear pierced, but then after being asleep in the Temple of Time for 7 years, his ear is now pierced.
Well, there's a lot of things like that. Like if you wear a yellow handkerchief in your left back pocket or something. So like the old man was watching over Link. He did some things.
If we're talking about little things to notice in this cutscene, can I just mention that Roru's forehead is a Triforce?
Ever since the first time I heard that in 3 Paws, I cannot unsee that.
Same. Every single time I get there in a run, I have to look at his forehead.
And I like how this time we mention it after we never see his forehead again. Well, I mean, in this cutscene, and then I don't think we ever see him again in the run. Spoilers, but I don't think you ever really see him in the rest of the game.
Yeah, if you just like go look at an early part of the Master Sword cutscene, just look at Roru's forehead, and you see a very clear Triforce. I think it's like the polygons that make up his head make a Triforce.
It seems too obvious to not be intended.
Yeah, definitely intended. Or else there would be other characters that would have the same thing.
How does this man's forehead fit into the timeline?
How does this run fit into the timeline?
What is the lore behind Reverse Boss Order?
We'll leave that as a viewer exercise. I really hope that we don't get into that.
To answer chat, yes, Lady Gaga is the final boss.
This is a really long cutscene. I'm like one step away from reading a random quote off of Sonic High School.
Please don't.
I won't. But I just want you to know that the threat is there.
Oh.
Well, this cutscene's made ever so slower by never having, or ever so faster by never having a blue square or blue triangle on the text boxes.
Oh yeah, I thought I forgot to tell the guy. Okay, transcriber bot is just for today. Sorry.
That was the real point of this TAS showing, just to ban transcriber bot.
Yeah.
It was all ruse.
What's the viewer count at right now? I don't have it open, I only have chat.
10.
10 viewers. 15:30.
Jesus, that's a lot of people watching, wasting their time watching this stupid thing I made.
Yeah.
Let's have the gameplay speak for itself. I'm just gonna throw out a guess that we're not beating Ganon as child. Don't actually tell me if I'm right or not, but this is what I'm inferring as someone that's never seen this before.
I mean, there's a certain event that has to be done before you can become child again.
Alright, we'll leave the hint at that for our viewers to ponder over.
I mean, if you can read Japanese, Sheik just told you what you have to do.
Oh, I can read Japanese.
Follow the opposite directions.
So, for those in chat that can't read Japanese, what that translated to is Sheik literally tells you how to beat Ganon as the first boss, but I'm not gonna spoil that.
So there is a task way to have the grave move without Link pulling it. I didn't learn how to do that until after that, so I used the Poe. Oh,
I
I
thought
forgot to.
it was RTA possible, just no one did it.
It is. It's just 2 frame perfect inputs, and also I forgot to have like a challenge to see who can guess my Dampe time. Guess the Dampe time, chat.
10.
Probably might actually be kind of close this time.
Damn it.
$46.
So that 17 is in reference to Jimmy 1717.
I intended, or my goal was to actually get a 12, specifically so I can make the or I could make the meme come true that Link got a 12.7 on the Dampe race.
Maybe next year.
I'm not even sure if 12 would even be possible. Just, I know that wasn't optimal, but I'm not sure how you can shave 5 seconds off that because I had another script to press Ocarina first frame. I'm side hopping, so timer was paused for as much as possible. I saved 5 seconds in quotes. It wasn't actually like you can't actually shave 5 seconds off that, like 5 seconds off the timer.
Yeah, so for those who don't know how the timer pausing works, all you have to do is press some cutscene item in the air, so stuff like Ocarina, Bottle, Din's Fire, anything like that in the air while a timer is going will freeze it until you land on the ground. So just side hop, press Ocarina, side hop, press Ocarina is what was done.
I saw a blue text box there. Can you please explain?
Oh, like I said, there are a couple places where the script didn't work because of lag, or I may have forgotten to have the script open while doing gameplay.
Inexcusable. 10 points removed.
Dang.
Alright, if you had the title as TAS, switch it back to LOTAD.
I'm pretty sure I left it as LOTAD.
This is just standard hover or Shadow Temple early. Everyone's seen it.
Even Jonathan Bad has seen this one.
Also, as a note for the Dampe race, I really considered. I know it'd be a little more unoptimal, but going to get a warp song first, just so I could get a 000.
I would have been mad.
I would have been indifferent. I don't know what any of that meant.
In the Dampe race, it is possible to keep the timer from never updating while you move through it by repeatedly playing warp songs and then moving while the "you cannot warp away" text is on screen.
Sorry for that graveyard section. Clint had a large role in creating this.
Oh, I mean, I should mention, so yes, this is a LOTAD, but it's also a February 21st LOTAD. So my goal is I did a slightly unoptimal route to try and put in some more obscure glitches. At least that was my intent. But due to something which I will explain later on, that kind of didn't work out as great as I had hoped. And you'll also see me doing a few things that end up being useless because of some last-minute route changes and because of something that I'll mention later on.
But wait, you mentioned February 21st. What's the significance of that?
I'm glad you asked. You see, February 21st, 2015, 2 Paws was uploaded to YouTube. February 21st, 2016, 100% in 3 Pauses was uploaded to YouTube.
Ocarina of Time in 100%.
And today we get this, whatever. But
And
it's
so what's
important
next
to do
year?
think. Well, there's actually like 3.
Next year's all dungeons, no doors, right?
Hope so. There's also like other things in the works too, such as Wind Waker Low Pause and a special Majora's Mask challenge. So there's a lot to look forward to. It's good to have a day where we can celebrate challenges in Zelda games.
I don't think All Done There's No Doors would be a February 21st run, just because it has such a mematic importance that it deserves to just come out when it's done, not wait until the next February 21st.
But as
Yeah.
fate has it, it naturally finishes on February 21st.
Oh, so to explain this, my goal with Hessing was to use the Z. My goal was to never use the Z button. However, I never got around to doing that, so I used Z to do quick angle changes, but I had a script to alternate between ESS left and right every frame.
I like that. It's pretty cool.
Also, when I started this 2 weeks ago, I was really bad at Hessing, so there are gonna be some really weird Hesses like that, where like I know I can Hess off the sign, I just couldn't get it for some reason. It was just taking way too long to do.
Link looks really nervous during this Hess.
Who is
I
watching
muted
this
my
with speakers?
video. I muted my video just in case you could hear it through my headphones. So if the problem went away, then that's good.
Is it happening when I'm talking? Because I'm not using speakers, but I don't know. My computer's also been dumb recently.
I think I heard it while you were talking, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it only happens with really loud stuff, though. Yeah, again, for people like complaining about the low optimization, this is just meant to be a demonstration, just to like show the run is both possible and just like what the route looks like. Because I mean, I'm sure you guys have probably heard me talking about this on my stream before, how I think how I think reverse boss order is so cool, but it's like too hard to do a real run of, and so this is just to show off what a run of it looks like, without necessarily trying to optimize everything.
So here I did learn how to do the task only way of doing that, so yeah.
I think we can all appreciate just seeing the run in this quality. Just like we know the route is possible, and we know that if I gave the controller to my 6-year-old brother, he could do it too.
That information is on the screen. It literally says low optimization tool assisted demonstration. Do I have to like make this text really big? Oh no, it's covering up. The video's covering it up. Whatever.
So to emphasize the low optimization part, that ladder is hookshotable. I have hookshot equipped. I still claimed it.
That was all
Thanks.
intentional.
Thanks for that. Oh man, are you gonna make it to Fire Temple?
Stay tuned. That was actually nice.
Just on time.
My goal for Fire Temple was to never equip the Goron tunic, even though I have it. Also,
Optimization.
there is a way to skip this tax. I do have a bottle. I could have collected something in the bottle. However, you guys remember that forest escape? That is Down A escape, which was discovered by MTA. And when I showed him the work in progress, he was really happy that I used his escape. So I kind of had to stick it to him and not use the During escape he found. And it's totally not because I forgot to catch something in my bottle. And this is totally not a made-up excuse.
Well, I fully believe that and support it, so thank you for letting me watch that cutscene.
Also, I tried, and with the health I have now, I could not get to where I needed to in time, so I just equipped the Goron tunic.
Yeah, wait a minute. What is this? Please redo the entire thing. You can't just get me hyped up like, I'm like, hell yeah, he's not gonna equip the Goron tunic. This is gonna be a good day. I'm so happy.
I mean, this is the only tunic, the only other tunic that's equipped, right? Right?
Just wait and see. Also, I said my goal was to do it. I didn't say I did it. Also, if you notice, right before I opened that key door, it looked like I did the Z-slide with hover boots. You can't do Z-slides with hover boots. Well, you can. It's just you lose speed. You don't keep your speed. but it was such a short distance that like the slidiness of the hover boots kept me moving at the same speed.
Now I know what you're thinking. If we have to beat Ganon, what are we doing in the Fire Temple?
Yeah. What are we doing in the Fire Temple?
I mean, we eventually have to beat Volvagia.
That's true.
And we do have control of time, so we can go back in time after defeating Volvagia and undo it. We won't, don't worry.
I don't think that's actually how it works, though.
I mean, placing and putting the Master Sword moves us 7 years, or 7 years in game time, and we know how long a day is. So we can just wait around as child for the number of
Please no
days
in-game
equivalent to
time.
7
We're not going
years.
to attain this run with in-game timing.
Actually, has anyone ever tested that? Just leave your game on for
Yes,
7
people have
years.
tested that.
Did it work?
No. There used to be this really old theory that that's how you beat the Running Man. Needless to say, it didn't work.
Reminder that we can do everything in Ocarina of Time. We can do literally anything. We still can't beat the Running Man. So, someone get on that.
We also can't get to Twin Roba without opening a door.
That one's less important. But get on that anyway. I want that solved.
I mean, I do have a couple ideas on that I haven't had a chance to work on because of what you're watching right now. Also, with that block, I rolled onto it the last possible frame just because I could.
That looked cool. I like things that
I
look cool.
appreciated that.
So there's a really, really old video of Giano, or one of the old runners, doing this boss skip, or doing this block skip. So I was trying to figure out how to do that with Choose, and I found that video, so I just replicated it. I was intending on doing the commentary that went with the video, but I forgot to do it.
Yeah, the L in LOTAD stands for lazy, so...
So this is another
Do you
example
have to
of...
unlock the camera while climbing there, or could you not, like, keep it locked from the bottom?
That was locked from the bottom. It's just something something about going through a room change after unlocks the camera temporarily. I don't know exactly.
Okay.
See, even ZFG learned something from this.
Also, that was another example of the same concept as down A skip. When I'm in a climbing state, I can lock the camera by mashing Z frame perfectly. It's just in this case, I'm moving up instead of like going through objects.
This is not pre-recorded. ZFG is playing this live with the help of Clint Stevens in the especially bad sections.
Also, like I said, I was really bad at hessing at the beginning, which is why I didn't do the hess maze skip, and I just did 2 mega flips instead. That was also the last possible, or the latest I could drop the shoe and still have it destroy the door.
Are you gonna die?
Yes, I am going to die.
Well, I didn't mean in real life, like everyone dies eventually. But I mean, you're at half a heart here.
Link is going to die. Again, last possible frame to climb up without it voiding me out.
Wait a minute, how are you gonna hit this switch without bombs? This TAS thinks of everything. That was amazing.
So, if you were noticing, it seemed like I kind of like moved a little jagged after getting off that vent and going to the door. Bizhawk has this stupid thing sometimes where or BizHawk will, for analog input, registers both the actual XY value of the analog stick and if it's up, down, left, right. And sometimes when loading the state, it will lock the analog value, but in the virtual controller it has, but it will also let you. But you can still use a GameCube controller to actually. Oh, there I die. But you can still use a GameCube controller to control it, but it only controls the up, down, left, right, so it kind of acts like a D-pad with diagonals. Which so that pops up every now and then. I did my best to try and fix it when I saw it, but I couldn't fix everything.
I think I have a fix for that I can tell you after this.
I mean, I know what happens when, or I know under some circumstances how to avoid it, but I'd just love to hear it after this.
Alright, now we're ready to fight Ganon. I'm assuming I actually have no idea. But it has to happen eventually.
Low optimization commentary.
Yep, it's time to go fight Ganon. That's totally why we're watching the
Alright.
Ganon CS or the Ganon Tower CS.
That's what he wants you to think.
It's definitely not because it sets the in-game timer to midnight so that it can become day faster.
I warned you. This better not be 100% run. Like, literally do 100% of the game. It's like, okay, now I'm ready to fight Ganon.
To answer the question in chat, Dorf and Ganon are considered two separate bosses.
So yeah, you do need to beat Ganon, and then after beating Ganon, you have to beat Ganondorf. But we're still trying to work our way to Ganon. How are we gonna get to Ganon first?
I think Link's just nervous. Like, he does not want to,
We're
fight
gonna get
this
to
man.
Ganon by rolling against a wall a bunch
Oh
of
my
times.
god, these silent rules. They're so good.
Yeah, you like that? Clint did that.
Also, since the Navi text popped up, if we were to talk to Navi even as adult Link, she would still tell us to go go into the Great Deku Tree, because we haven't hit the flag that changes or that tells the Navi to give us the next text box in the sequence. But it's also in Japanese, and I doubt anyone watching the stream can read Japanese. It'll just look like gibberish to them.
The proper term is moonspeak.
Moonspeak? I thought it was Weebspeak.
And I know what you're all thinking. Why are we doing silent rules here? Well,
Yeah,
we're
why
just
are you
waiting.
wasting so much time? Is this really that low optimized?
It actually is, because it wasn't until after I did this section that I realized I could have actually done something instead of silent rolls, but whatever.
Don't
It's
mention
slow
it.
optimized for a reason.
Alright, but what was the purpose of that waiting?
Did the text box not appear on screen? Basically, the pocket egg we got right after becoming adult hatched into a pocket cucko.
Ah.
Also, yeah, I heard the game audio on the entering the room.
Whoa, where are we going?
Who knows with this movement?
Alright, we got the most important item in the game, the fish.
Second most important item in the game.
The first most is your heart. Because without that, Link would never have the courage to defeat Ganondorf.
Well, okay, if by item you mean inanimate object, then yes. But if you mean item in the video game sense, it's the second most important item.
First being bottle, because you need a bottle to catch the fish.
No, you need. Let's just say this item also appears in Majora's Mask and helps a lot with 2 paws.
Stay tuned.
Actually, to quote the 2 paws commentary, this item is the 2 paws guru or whatever you called it.
I actually have no idea what I said. I know
Alright,
exactly
classic
what I
running around in
said.
circles.
So there's a big Poe spawn, but since I'm not on Epona, it can sometimes be a little Poe. And there is that manipulation to make it spawn as a little Poe if it spawns. However, I just couldn't get it to spawn sometimes, or I could get it to
Oh
spawn,
yeah,
but to spawn
so
up.
there's actually this thing with post-spawn locations a lot of people don't know. They actually will not spawn until roughly 10 seconds after you enter an area. And also 10 seconds after one of them disappears.
Yeah, so I just had to waste time in order to get the little Poe to spawn. Also, okay. If you guys notice, up until now, I hadn't done anything with my C down button. But now I have bombs through this wonderful glitch called RBA.
ZFG, what is RBA?
RBA is Reverse Bottle Adventure. It's a glitch where you get a bottle on your B button, and then it modifies stuff in your inventory based on what you catch on your B button and the item you have on C right. So I think that first C right item was an empty bottle, right? Which
Yeah,
gives you a bottle in your third bottle slot. Then, what did you do after that? Dump with pose?
it was catch fish with empty bottle, drop with Kojiro. No, sorry, drop with bombs, grab with Kojiro, drop with Poe.
Yeah, so drop with bombs puts a bottle over the bomb slot. Catch with Kajiro gives you a glitched quiver that holds 20 arrows and the biggest bomb bag.
40 quiver.
Oh, 40 quiver?
With
Okay.
fish it's 40 quiver, which is why I had to RBA with the fish instead of
Wait, isn't it 30
usually with
quiver?
bugs, because I thought it was 40.
Pretty sure it's 30.
I mean,
Doesn't
I
matter,
never
doesn't
had
matter.
the...
They both work. And then dumping the fish with Poe on C right gives you 20 bomb shoes.
Also, to note, in the inventory screen, I have a bottle in the bomb slot, but I have bombs on my C buttons. That's because as adult, bombs are always equipped, even if you don't have them. However, if I ever equip over my bombs or try and equip that bomb bottle, it'll put the bottle on my C button and I lose bombs. Or I lose the ability to pull out a bomb. In the Majora's Mask community, that glitch is, or there's a similar version of that, or something similar called bombcraft.
I like to pretend that that term doesn't exist. Now, this timer that's on the screen, what is that for?
That's just to try and get Link to return to give the odd potion to the potion shop fast. It does literally nothing. For our purposes.
And so, what are you doing this trade item trading for? You getting Big Orange Sword?
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
We can't spoil anything. But that's a good question to keep in mind. Why are we doing this trade quest?
Ooh, that was cool movement.
I like that
that.
shortcut.
What boss is next? The next boss is currently the first boss, which is Ganon. Still working our way to the first boss.
I've been waiting for this first boss for so long.
Yeah, it's been 44 minutes.
You don't even think there's no bosses being done?
So it's the same as in A Link to the Past reverse boss order. It's just a lot of setup, and then all the bosses come relatively quickly, one after each other.
The real explanation is that Link has no boss.
So I guess this section is just more setup, just getting more items from RBA in particular.
Yeah. Also tied for the second most important item, a bottle of bugs.
Yep, and then that RBA with Odd Potion on C right gives you all 3 spiritual stones and the Song of Time. Now, the goal is beating the bosses and beating the dungeons, not just having the stones and medallions, so no, that does not count as the child dungeons being completed or whatever.
Also, since this has never been really done before, there was a little question, there is the question that could be asked of whether or not I have to enter the blue warps. I just took it as being the boss, I have to enter the blue warp, because the blue warp, it spawns.
Yeah, yeah. If you didn't do that, I would be disappointed.
ZFG can end careers. You would have been dead.
I can end the stream.
That's
And no one would
equivalent.
watch this.
Is there really still an echo issue when I talk?
All you have to do is like lower your.
Like, lower the audio on the video you're watching.
Right.
It's as low as it's possible on YouTube. I'm gonna try volume manager. Give me a sec.
I just want to mention that I really like these nervous hesses. That's the official
Yeah.
term.
They look really cool. I remember when hessing was first found, there was a video of doing hessing without holding Z, and I was like, oh, dude, that looks really cool. I hope everyone hesses like that. But it was actually really hard.
Can you guys? Is there any more of an echo?
It'll be hard to tell until we get to a loud part, but it seems fine right now.
Okay. So actually, with the script I used for what I guess we're calling the nervous hesses, I originally wanted to also have it be ESS left and ESS right relative to the direction Link is facing, so that way I could also have like Link be facing towards the camera but be hessing away from the camera. But I never took the time to actually finish writing that part of the script, so it's only ESS left and ESS right on the control stick.
And that's what the L and LOTAD is for.
And yeah, that nervous hessing, for those who don't know what's going on, is just alternating ESS position so that Link is constantly changing angles without pressing Z. And so Link's trying to turn right, then he turns left, turn right, turn left again. And you do that enough, it looks like Link is going in somewhat of a straight line.
Also, to mention, I'm really happy how it ended up that I just slid straight to the Carpenter.
I thought that was planned.
I mean, once I realized it's possible, I made it I made it so that it happened. It's still cool.
I'll give you that. This still isn't Ganon's lair.
No, but what this is the first of a few RNG manipulations which took way too long to do.
Oh man,
I like
all
those
these bombs.
3 bomb drops.
Whoa, 40 bombs. I wish I had 40 bombs.
Have you ever gotten luck like that in a run, ZFG?
I think once. I once got 5 bomb drops in one grass circle. That was actually crazy. Whoa.
I didn't do that setup right, it still ended up working. I didn't really care. It looked cool.
Yeah, so that's a ground clip. There are certain places where you mega flip at certain weird angles on the ground. You can clip through it, and then that gets you to Zora's domain really quickly. And then this trick, you might have seen King Zora was frozen, and now he's not frozen. So if you backwalk up the stairs and then take out an item that has text, like the Broken Goron Sword right there, for some reason it'll unfreeze King Zora.
You don't have to backwalk up, you just have to keep the camera off of King Zora.
Yeah.
I did that with the Hess. Which ended up being faster because a Hess you move twice as fast as backwalking.
And then everyone's favorite item.
The Speed Frog. Keep it in your inventory for good speed luck.
Oh, we're not keeping this in our inventory.
We don't need speed luck.
Also, I was really confused about that hookshot clip, or about the like grabbing the ledge after hookshotting, or yeah, grabbing the ledge after hookshotting the ladder. I did not know Link can grab ledges that high above him.
Also, one thing to note for Speed Frog, for those who don't know, if you talk to King Zora while he's trying to give you the Zora tunic right after unfreezing him, and hold the R button, then it'll give you the Eyeball Frog instead of the Zora tunic, which you're supposed to get. Which is why you may have noticed you skip an item in the trade quest.
I love this movement.
Then you're gonna like it even better later on in the run.
I will. Also, everyone remember those Deku sticks? I don't want anyone to forget about them.
Never forget.
Is there a reason we're not using the Ocarina?
You have to RBA there anyway, right?
No, I just didn't want to use the Ocarina.
Oh. You didn't want to RBA Ice Arrow slot for any particular reason?
Oh, I guess never mind. That does make yeah.
Yeah.
It makes getting ice arrows fast later on a little bit faster.
Whoa. Spoilers, dude.
If we get ice arrows.
If
Yeah,
we get
if we
ice
were-
arrows. Who knows if we may or may not get ice arrows.
I know if we get ice arrows or not.
You're the only one that knows. Actually, everyone knows, we're just pretending to not know.
Actually, I think Alien also knows since this is originally his route that he gave me like a year ago that I made some updates to.
Alright, so yeah, this is taking quite a while to get to Ganon. So you're just doing a lot of setup. You gotta do a lot of setup to get to Ganon, right? So what's all the stuff we've done so far?
Should I explain now, or setup is over in the next 10 minutes?
Well, we can kind of just quickly recap. He has, like,
Yeah.
adult, magic, bomb shoot, hookshot.
And then a bunch of
Bugs.
stuff gotten from RBA. You've got some songs from RBAing the Poacher Saw, RBA Kajiro for Bomb Bag and Quiver, RBA the Stones in Song of Time from Odd Potion. Did you RBA medallions? I didn't see.
I did RBA medallions.
Okay. And also the hammer. Got the hammer from Fire Temple.
Yes. Did I already
As-
RBA the hammer?
No. RBAing hammer is not useful. And
Well,
all of
it
this
is-
stuff is necessary to get to Ganon early, or most of it at least.
There's only one thing left to do to get. Well, there are two things left to do. Three things left
Actually,
to do.
there's
to get
4
to
things,
Ganon.
5 things.
Getting to
No.
Ganon without beating any other bosses is quite a task.
It is, and it requires a lot of setup. Should I start explaining it now, or wait until it's time to actually do it?
Explain what's happening right now.
So
and
what's happening
what
right
this leading
now
up to.
is there is an adult aqua escape where you can just like clip in by like jump slashing off the edge. I tried that with hammer and I couldn't get it, so I just did Navi dive.
But I assume it doesn't matter too much because of this timer, right?
I did end up, or yeah, it doesn't really matter. There was one piece of setup that I wanted to do before I froze the timer, but I didn't end up doing it, or I ended up having to freeze the timer beforehand. Also, is there still an echo? I lowered my volume on my side.
You could just mute it if you're like super worried about it.
I mean, I
Alright,
want
now
to.
the timer is at 0 seconds. That's cool.
I mean, the thing is, when I was LOTADing this, I didn't have game audio on for most of it, so this is like the first time I'm actually hearing large portions of it.
Gotta make sure there's no audio glitches.
Yeah, so by avoiding out right as the timer expires, you can get the timer to remain at 0, permanently. Or permanently until you do some things.
Well, you can also play a warp song or use Feora's Wind and make it go up to 1 second.
Whoa, adding that 1 extra second to your infinite time.
That 1 second is actually very useful for something that's coming up.
Good to know.
Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in due time.
Yeah, I'll point out the very difficult tricks in this run. The reason this run is very difficult.
Also, Ganon's not over here, so just adding to the suspense of when we finally get to Ganon, it'll be that much sweeter.
Oh, since
Oh, I was just saying RBing the hammer is basically useless. It RBAs the Nehru's Love slot?
sorry, I accidentally kicked out my mic. Yeah, RBing Hammer does RBA Neru's Love slot. However, I do need more bottles with contents, and Neru's Love is an item that's usable as both child and adult, so I can equip that bottle to either child or adult.
Yeah, so it is a good place to put a bottle. And there's
Why
the
did you
hammer
miss that
RBA.
bottle swing?
So there are a couple places where I was like reloaded a state to try and fix something, but there are like two states that look very similar to each other, and that was one of those cases. I thought I got it. I thought I loaded the state before the first bottle swing. I actually loaded the state after the first bottle swing.
I'm just gonna pretend that the TAS was so optimal that you're like, okay, let's remind people that this is a LOTAD, so you just purposely miss.
This run is done on 1.0. So Ferora's Wind, another pretty important item.
Feora's Wind is one of the items that I intended on using, but due to a route change and something that happened, which I'm going to explain in a little bit, ended up not being used at all.
Oh,
I love when that happens.
same.
Ferora's Wind is so useful.
Or I should say, Feora's Wind is useful, but the Feora's Wind I just got is not useful. Oh, so I run to the bridge and then I run off the bridge to do this Hess. The little planks in between, like the gap in between the planks, will actually cause the chew to explode. So I had to do the Hess off the bridge. That took me way too long to realize.
I like it. I'm also gonna assume that all the nervous Hesses are part of the lore of Reverse Boss Order. Link is just super nervous to fight Ganon.
He's so nervous that he has to go straight to Ganon. Like, how are you gonna...
He keeps delaying it as much as he can. He's like, what else can I do? Oh, Ferora's Wind. I don't even need this. Let me get it. Also, there's the 1 second timer. I noticed it.
Oh yeah, I forgot that we played Serenade, which is a song that we RBA'd. So you guys were asking you guys were wondering what the most important item for this run is. We
I
are
think
getting
we
that.
all know. We
We are
all
getting
know.
that item right now.
Gotta do one more RBA.
I mean, this RBA is unintentional. What I actually needed to do was this. Or sorry,
Whoa.
He faked you
this.
out.
You
He
killed
faked
Speed
you
Frog,
out.
dude.
Like I said, we're not keeping Speed Frog. Speed Frog actually keeping Speed Frog would ruin this run.
Press F for Speed Frog, guys.
All of our speed luck is gone.
Yeah, that's like I said. That delay before I started this hover was again. I loaded a state a little later than I intended to, or a state a little later than what I intended to load. Also, we just stole Epona, the most useful item in this run.
Epona is an item.
Like I said, Epona is a video game item, or it can be thought of as an animal. It's however you want to choose it. I choose to think of it as a video game item.
Can we get PETA in the chat? Like, this is ridiculous.
Alright, so you've done quite a bit of setup so far.
There is a little bit more setup to do.
Oh yeah.
Only 10 more things, and then we're almost ready for Ganon.
We only need to get one more item before we one more item before we can go to Ganon.
One more item. He's talking about Zelda. He's just referring to Zelda as an item now.
No, this is an actual item. It's an actual card.
I
Wait.
wonder what card.
What card
Sorry.
item is there in this game?
We're actually getting 2 items.
We're actually
bad.
getting 3 items.
So for the carpenter route, I pulled up one of Danny's old glitchless PBs. It turns out I pulled up one that's like a little bit on the older side, so it's a slightly out of date card route. Also,
the other guy commentating is Kita.
Also, if you notice, I stopped before I did the hammer jumps, or ended the hammer jump slash before going too much further. For whatever reason, having a text box on screen while like the hammer recoil is on screen will cause that frozen timer to unfreeze.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's actually something with the text box itself.
It's not the text box because I got the text box by itself. It was only the text box with the hammer
And
jump slash.
it was like frame perfect on the text box?
No, it's just anytime the hammer struck ground or wall, struck the ground or the wall while the text box was on screen.
That's interesting.
Or maybe it was frame perfect. I don't know because that had the hammer hitting the same time as the text box. I don't remember. I just remember it was a pain until I realized or at least for the first one, hammer before bringing up the text box.
Yeah, I guess that is something we should mention about the frozen timer. So the frozen timer will reactivate and become a normal timer based on certain triggers, based on certain text boxes. So there's very specific text boxes throughout the game where if you read them and you let the text box complete, so like you see the green arrow or box or whatever, it'll actually reactivate the timer. It's not every text box, it's a very select few. But some of these carpenters do have those text boxes, which is why it's important. But at the same time, you can also use certain text boxes that unfreeze the timer to your advantage when you actually want to unfreeze the timer.
Which will be happening very shortly.
Or will it? Stay tuned. You gotta keep them guessing.
Look, I can say this. We are not leaving. The next place we go to after Gerudo Fortress will be Ganon.
Or will it? It will.
I mean, how would you know? I sent you the link to this video, or that I haven't sent you that part of this run until like 10 minutes before we started streaming.
Yeah, I definitely don't know anything about this game.
Gmax Mac, it's all of them. All of them individually do unfreeze the timer if you don't go through the text box frame perfectly.
I mean, even with the script I had to close the text box frame perfectly, the timer would still unfreeze under certain conditions, like what I mentioned earlier with having like the hammer shake while the text box was on screen. Oh, I completely forgot to mention. Before I had a bottle on my B button. Now, what do you guys see on my B button?
Hey, yeah, that's weird.
So, to explain what happened, this game has a flag we call the swordless flag. When this flag is set, you die, your B button will stay blank. However, under other conditions, it will make your B button blank, such as getting on and off Epona, going through a mini game, or going through a mini game that puts a mini game item on your B button. That blank B button is very important.
And so, what exactly caused your B button to go blank?
Oh, so the swordless flag starts out, or so when the swordless flag is not set, whenever you respawn, your temp B value, which isn't really important to this run, but I'm going to mention anyways, is put onto your B button after you die. But by default, this swordless flag is set so that you start the game swordless because you have to collect the Kokiri sword, and it's unset when you equip sword. Up until now, I still haven't equipped a sword, so this entire time the swordless flag has been set. So when I got off Epona, my B button became blank.
And that's just one of the reasons why Epona is so important. Alright, I'm ready for Ganon. Let's go.
There's still one more carpenter.
Of course there is. Wait,
Wait,
is
what?
there?
Aren't there 4 carpenters?
You
Or
just
was
got
that
the card, or did you get the card with 3 carpenters?
Isn't there a 4th? I thought there was a 4th. No, that was the last one. Never mind.
Okay, I was thinking like, did you just find guard carpenters, Steve?
He's trying to keep you on your toes. You never know what to expect with this man.
Also, I didn't want to pay the 10 rupees, and I wanted to show off this very old and classic strat.
This
Only
is a good
90s kids
strat.
will remember this one.
Whoa.
This is like the coolest strat, or one of my favorite strats in this game. Also, is there still an echo? I've completely muted the gameplay video, or the YouTube video on my
If you
side.
muted it, it should be fine.
Yeah, so what happened there is you side hop very close to the ceiling there, and it kind of makes Link stick to the ceiling because of the ceiling being a smaller angle than Link's falling angle from the side hop. And so it bypasses the loading trigger for the bottom part of Buddha Fortress. And the loading zone is still there, the collision for the ground is still there, but the gate is not there, so you can just walk right into Buddha Fortress. And then you can do this trick called Weird Shot to hook shot
That's
under the
not
ground.
yeah, you can, except I like A slide, so I do all of my weird shots in this game from an A slide, just because I like
This
A
is the
slide.
stylish way to do weird shots.
A stands for
Exactly.
awesome.
Also, if you notice, right after I opened the ice arrow chest, I threw a bomb. I was originally gonna die to get out of this room, but then dying gets rid of the timer. So, again, that's a case where I loaded a state that was slightly later than when I intended to load. So, yeah.
And now we're going to fight Ganon.
We are on the way to fight Ganon. Actually, we just need a few more bombs.
Of course.
More than 30.
Okay,
Dang.
so when the
Really
one
need a lot.
trick, well, okay, so originally I thought I needed a lot of bombs, and after I did the one trick, it ended up, I realized, I did end up needing a lot of bombs, but then I realized how to cut down on my number of bombs, and I kept cutting down, and I just never updated this part. I just managed to use these extra bombs later in the run.
He's taunting the viewers. He's just including sections that we don't need to see. Just to keep up the suspense of finally fighting Ganon.
We are still on our way to the first boss, although we may or may not be there soon.
So I just put a bottle over my bow slot, which is the final thing we need to go fight Ganon.
And the reason that's important is because you're going to need to play the Gerudo archery game soon, and you can only play the archery game if you have something in that bow slot. Now, having something in that bow slot doesn't mean having the bow, so you can just dupe over ice arrows to put a bottle in that slot, and then that allows you to play the game.
So remember how we mentioned the swordless B button before? When your B button is blank and you're on Epona, you have unrestricted items. So what I can do is I can use Ocarina to fall through Epona and be walking around while Epona is also walking around. I then use a hookshot to hookshot a ladder at a very specific angle. What this does is it stores a hookshot jump, or as some people like to call it, a doom
No, they
jump.
don't.
No.
Anyway, so it stores a hookshot jump, and what that does is that allows me to fly up really high in the air. I think, I don't even remember how high I went with that one. So what that does, and again, I'm still technically on Epona state, and swordless, so I can still use my items. So that lets me use my Ocarina while falling. So I played Nocturne and accepted it on a very specific frame. Now, what that did is that set my last entrance to the Nocturne pad in the graveyard, but it still spawned me in Gerudo Fortress. So now when I combine that with the archery minigame, I end up in Tower Collapse.
And yeah, that
That's nice.
text box that starts the archery game is a text box that reactivates the timer. Then that archery game sets a certain flag that lets wrong warp work. Combining that with the Nocturne warp pad, as mentioned earlier, gets you to Ganon's castle.
This is Ocarina of Time. People aren't going to question anything. You could have like warped to like Mario Kart 64. They wouldn't have questioned it.
Yep. And so for people that have been in my stream before and like heard me talk about how reverse boss order is so hard, that trick is the trick that is just too hard.
One of the two tricks that's way too hard.
Yeah, it's two of the tricks back to back. The frame perfect void out while playing Nocturne, you basically have no way to do a setup for that or any kind of visual cue. Getting that is ridiculously difficult. And then on top of that, once you get that, you then have to do the frame perfect wrong warp with the timer, which isn't that hard, but doing it right after that trick is pretty bad. And then on top of that all, you have to do it with the frozen timer, and if you fail it, you have to reset up the frozen timer, because you can't just save with the frozen timer. So you'd have to redo the entire setup with the frozen timer to redo it once, and so it's just kind of this whole ridiculous process.
So there is a way to do it without the timer, and I completely forgot about that until after I beat Dwarf. It would actually end up being a little faster for this run, and it would make it a little easier to do it RTA, but I like this method as well. Also, I was incorporating the whole wrong warp, so both the hookshot jump and the archery minigame part as one trick. The second really hard trick is about to come.
I don't think it's that hard.
Part of it is blind and like frame perfect. Also,
It's doable.
It is doable.
EFG was.
Also, going back to the minigame wrong warp for a second, what makes the hookshot jump very hard is that if you press A at any time while you're walking around, while you're in the RC opponent state, the remote control opponent state, you get warped back to opponent. So you can't, if you want to make a setup for it, you cannot use the A button. And also, hookshot jumps are very inconsistent on how much height and speed you get. There's a technique. Oh yeah, and while you're playing the ocarina, you cannot pause, so that trick is unbufferable. RTA.
Yeah, that's another thing that makes it ridiculously difficult.
And
Alright, so
then
now we're
also
on the first boss.
yeah, also the text box is also the text box for the wrong warp itself is also unbufferable and frame perfect. So also, if you notice, I re-equipped my sword right before entering the fight. That unset the swordless flag, but then Ganon also reset the swordless flag.
So could you have gotten away with not equipping it?
I could have, but this fight would have taken like years.
I like that.
It's because right before, or as you saw, I jump slashed on the last possible frame, so I was doing a jump slash in the cutscene. That stores a power crouch stab damage of 4 for Ganon. If I tried just doing normal hammer attacks, that would be a damage of 1 each time, and it takes 10 hit points to go on to the next phase of Ganon. So it would have taken, instead of 4 shots, it would have had to have taken 10. Or 4 hits, or 10 hits for the first phase.
Alright,
Also,
now Ganon's about to be beaten,
Yep.
but doesn't the credits start when you kill Ganon?
Yep, we're about to do the final blow on Ganon and start the credits, and we've actually lied. We're not actually beating the other bosses. But like I said, like we were saying with all the nervous Hesses, Link is really scared, so he's gonna play with explosives for a little bit.
I always appreciate lore. Thank you.
So there is an invisible wall here. You can get over it in 14 bomb shoots is the minimum I've seen. I did it in 16, and like these were all like done on the first possible frame. I didn't really care of trying to figure out the spacing to save an extra bomb shoot because I can just RBA more bomb shoots because I have the Poe in my first ball slot. Also, so now we just hovered above Ganon. However, we cannot do the final blow from where we are, so we need to get underneath the platform. Because normally with bomb hovering, you want to go up. In this case, we have to go down. And that can be very difficult unless you use level geometry to your advantage.
If y'all like hovering, check out this game called Majora's Mask. It's much better.
Majora's Mask does have much better explosives hovering.
And camera out of bounds.
Does Majora's Mask camera not lock out of bounds?
Yeah, it doesn't. They like fix the camera so it like always follows you.
Dude, that would have made this trick so much easier to do.
This trick would not crash on N64 as long as you don't shield drop a bomb chew out of bounds. If a shield drop bomb chew happens inbounds, it's fine. If a bomb explodes out of bounds, it's fine. And so yeah,
Also,
go on.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, so that entire hover was so that you can get under Ganon, so that you slash the area where you can slash still goes under the ground, so you can slash Ganon from under the ground. It deactivates ISG, so you fall out of bounds. So you kill Ganon, void out, and so you don't trigger the credits, and so you can continue the run.
It doesn't deactivate ISG.
Well, I mean, it makes you fall.
It does make you fall, because being in I think it's like just a cutscene state, or there are some cases where you can fall on ISG. That's how like Ocarina dives work.
And so now the first boss is beaten.
So technically, I could walk forward and re-trigger it. However, I did deal the final blow to Ganon, so we consider that Ganon is beaten. Also,
Oh no.
there was a very, very big mistake in what I intended to do. I meant to equip that first bottle to Child See right before going adult, and so I could BA with this cutscene. However, because I didn't do that, and I didn't realize until I got to this cutscene I didn't want to redo like 4 days worth of work, I cut out an idea, which is why Pharaoh is when the item ends up being useless.
The only thing better than light arrow cutscene is a not useful light arrow cutscene.
Also, this is bathroom break number 3. You have 3 or 4 minutes to go to the bathroom, browse Reddit, do whatever you want, call your mom, call your dad.
And you have more than enough time to wash your hands.
Yeah. Well, if it's my mom, you can't call my mom during a 4-minute break.
Why do you need to wash your hands after calling your mom?
So how's it going, everyone? How's your day?
I'm personally waiting for Tails, said Cream as she sat on her bed in her bedroom studying without Tails. Tails flew into the window.
No more, no more. That's it.
That was just a teaser.
Okay.
So is this considered a spoiler?
Uh, spoiler memes for Zelda being chic are too old.
Also, how can it be a spoiler? We actually wait, never mind. We do know Sheik did introduce herself after we pulled the Master Sword.
We've seen Sheik and Zelda, but somehow we still need to see this cutscene.
This is
And
also
this
the
Yeah,
cutscene.
didn't we just see Zelda back at Ganon's castle?
I mean, we saved her from Ganon. Apparently, she also got kidnapped.
Interesting.
Also, I like how we see adult Zelda, but we still haven't seen child Zelda. Or that was the first time we've seen child Zelda.
There's Child Zelda?
Yeah, don't you remember ZFG's favorite part of Three Paws?
Yeah, that part was great.
Which one? The first or the seventh?
There were only 5.
Well, that showed how much attention I was paying. Could have said there were 9 and I would believe you.
Well, since chat is talking about it, who's excited for Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
That didn't seem like a very enthusiastic yes.
It'll be more enthusiastic once the game comes out. I'm still not a believer that the game actually exists.
I mean, it's supposed to come out next week unless, like, Nintendo says their plant catches on fire.
I
I
mean,
think
they're probably gonna
they're
delay
kind
it
of
again.
expecting it.
The whole game was a joke.
Yeah.
Nintendo's going to announce that they partnered with with Valve to produce Half-Life 3. It's going to be a Switch exclusive.
Alright, it's over. Time to go to the second boss.
I've always hated that Light Arrow cutscene more than like any other cutscene.
Yeah, it
I don't
sucks.
even think it's the longest.
It is the longest. Neat. Aw.
So once I did that the first time, I spent maybe like 4 or 5 hours trying to do something like Bolero Skip, where I grab the ledge and thinking that by holding the ledge, it wouldn't lock my position the first time, so that I could like maybe frame perfectly, let go, and then void out. However, after 4 hours of testing, I realized you can't grab that ledge.
And remember that this TAS was just uploaded like 1 or 2 hours before we started commentating.
So this is just reverse boss order. It says nothing about the trials.
Oh yes, my favorite method of trial skip.
The Triforce Mega Flip.
Yes.
I had to put that in somewhere, and that just seemed like the best place to put it in.
It's part of the lore.
Also, I'm very happy that arrow drop happened because I do have a quiver. I do have light arrows, but I had 0 arrow count until entering here, and I can't remember if there are any arrow drops on the way up, other than that.
Can you buy it from the scrub?
There's some from the pots right under the Ganondorf fight.
Oh, I mean, I had arrows, I didn't check after I did that. Also, in case you guys didn't catch that, I dropped a bomb right, like, the frame before going through the door, and used that explosion to start a two-bomb super slide.
Optimal.
I appreciate that.
I spent a couple hours trying to get a Hess out of it instead of a two-bomb super slide. I just wasn't able to do it. And that was really hard to do, so I don't do it here.
Yes, Ganon was just beaten. We're now going to the second boss, Ganondorf.
However, I do the two-bomb super slide here again, just because I thought it was cool enough to do it again.
That did not look full super slide speed.
It's a super slide into an ESS, so once it became an ESS, my speed dropped from 18 to 10.
Did you do a Hess off the first bomb?
I spent hours trying and I couldn't get it. If you try and go into the wall, there's just not enough forward space to do a Hess. If you try and go parallel to the wall, you get the damage, or the damage animation turns you to face the wall. It's really weird.
Hold on. You went out of your way to do those optimal super slides, but you didn't Hess up the stairs?
If I was going to Hess up the stairs, I was going to do it from a bomb left in the other room. I wasn't going to do it from a bomb I dropped in that room.
Oh. Okay.
So that's why I did super slides into ESSs. Those still ended up being faster than walking or side hopping up the staircase. Also, this is another bathroom break if anyone wants to go to the bathroom or call their parents or whatever.
The Ganondorf fight? That's one of the that's like one of the main events.
Yes, but there's still like another 1.5 to 2 minutes of this cutscene before the fight.
Really? That shows how much I know.
It's a really long cutscene and I just turboed through it. I don't really know how long they are.
Yeah, I don't think it's that long. We just watched Light Arrow cutscene. We have like a new baseline of what a long cutscene is.
Also, I gotta say, out of all the fights, Dorf is my favorite one because of this.
Ooh, this looks cool. Whoa.
It's actually timed so that one full revolution was about how long it needed to be until I had to hit the light ball again. Also, I'm not 100% sure, I haven't checked, but I feel like pulling out the light arrows from FPG was 1 or 2 frames faster because you're already in first-person mode.
That was pretty cool.
I've always wanted first-person Zelda.
Is this VR? Yeah, this is VR.
Virtual record?
Yeah, it's the virtual record. Can't compete with a world record.
Also, if you remember earlier, I mentioned the script I used to mash or to close text boxes frame perfectly didn't work quite so well because of lag. Tower Collapse is the laggiest room or laggiest scene to my knowledge. So this was the only and that one from earlier, the Hylian shield chest, are the only 2 instances I know of the script not working. So you'll notice a couple of blue boxes here and there during this conversation. Oh, never mind, I take that back. I guess I did go through and manually do the scripts, or manually do those inputs.
You can keep your scripts. In my day, we had to do all our inputs by hand.
This doesn't look like Void Warp. Oh,
Why
yeah,
would I
'cause you already
void?
beat Ganon.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder what this is about.
Well, this is a void warp actually, just not the void warp.
Oh. How interesting.
This is a void warp.
Whoa.
That looks like a thunderbolt from that high up.
So
Really
what
makes
happened
you
there?
think.
Oh, okay. So what happened there was, remember earlier, to get to Ganon, we did voiding plus playing Nocturne. That was on a very specific frame. The frames either right before, like, give 3 frames either before that or after that. It's around 3, where you will spawn on the map that the song would take you to. However, you use the coordinates of your last entrance, in this case, the top of Ganon's tower, or the top of Tower Collapse. It just so happens those coordinates put you very close to the loading zone for Hyrule Field. And the reason I did that Void Warp instead of just playing the song and getting out is because that gets if I just played the song, as soon as I got there, the song would that timer would go to 1 second and expire. By doing this Void Warp, I can keep the timer.
And what happens when the timer runs out?
Nothing. I did try and get to Twin Rova in under 3 minutes to use this timer as a CS skip. However, for a reason I'll explain when we get there, that ended up being a dumb idea, and I also just could not get it. So earlier I kept mentioning something that happened. 2 days ago on Sunday, this last Sunday, during this scene of when I originally did it, there was a very big desync and a lot of work. Or sorry, no, this was yesterday that I realized there was a desync there. So from yesterday to today, I had to redo and finish everything from that point on. So expect a very large drop in quality, or in gameplay quality.
And a very large increase in good movement. It's not a LOTAD if we don't have good movement. So I appreciate all this.
There originally was a Wasteland Hess. However, after the desync, from yesterday to today, I didn't have enough time to do a Wasteland Hess. So I just backwalked through the whole thing.
I feel like every time you explain something, ZFG gets a little sadder.
Well, like I said, we only beat 2 of the bosses, and I had to redo the rest of it in the last 26, 27 hours just to get it done before February 21st to keep up with the tradition.
Yeah, this is understandable. It's fine.
Mind
ZFG is so
you,
upset right now. He's so mad.
mind you, I did manage to finish half of this run in 26 hours, and I still have no idea how I did it.
Look, there's one reason why CFG plays this game. Let's all be real here. There's one thing
Money.
he likes about this game. He hates this game. He hates Ocarina of Time. But he loves the Wasteland test. That's what
Yeah.
keeps him awake.
Yeah.
So I did those equips and then had to roll away, and then keep moving. The reason is because if you drop bugs and then catch and then try and drop again, the new bugs will be on the same drop timer as the old ones, so they'll all disappear at the same time. So I had to wait for the first set of bugs to like burrow into the ground to despawn. So I used that time to get closer to the loading zone since my timer was already almost close to expiring.
Also, I guess we're doing Twin Mold first before Bongo Bongo.
How am I gonna do Twin Mold? Twin Mold's in Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Or what?
You
Twin
wrong
Robo.
warping to Majora's Mask? Oh yeah, so let's have the age-old discussion of Spirit versus Shadow first.
Navi says Spirit, then Shadow. I am going in the reverse order that Navi tells you to go.
So
Alright.
wouldn't Navi say Shadow then Spirit?
Or sorry, Navi says go to Shadow after you beat Water, and then Navi then says go to Spirit after you beat Shadow. That's what I meant to say. Also,
But
bringing
your
back
pause
the
screen, your pause screen says differently though.
The pause screen says a lot of things. Navi explicitly tells you the order that she wants you to do the bosses in, and I am trying to, as much as I hate Nagi, or I very much hate Nagi, so I want to stick it to Nagi as much as possible.
Navi's the voice of the developers. That's the only thing we have to go off of for developer intentions. Okay, I guess we don't need the silver gauntlets to beat this.
No, actually getting the silver gauntlets right there would waste a lot of time. By that, I mean almost a minute.
Isn't the cutscene longer than that?
Cutscene's about a minute.
Oh, never mind, it would waste 2 minutes. I completely forgot about the cutscene.
Oh.
Also, I just realized I forgot to store a jump slash for this fight, so it's gonna take longer than normal.
Like I said, every time you explain something, ZFG just dies a little.
I mean, at least it looks funny.
Yeah, how often do you get to see the fight like this?
Seeing how there's another Iron Knuckle to come, something kind of like this will happen again very shortly.
As I said, every time you say something, just hang in there, ZFG.
I'm dying, man.
Alright, get eaten by the like, just really get it in there. There's no like in this room, is there?
I don't think there's a like in Spirit at all.
Yeah, there is.
I don't remember there being one.
It's at the bottom of Spirit. You don't go past it in this.
That would explain why. Also, I made it a point to go through the BMOS beam while hookshotting. Oh, we never explained what the last two RBAs were. I RBA'd light arrows and ice arrows. There is a boss key skip you can do. However, I'm going to do this.
This is changing my life.
So if you do, you can do entrance point glitch there to remove some of the actors so you can get down to this bottom room. However, if you do it on one of 2 frames, you get a really weird out-of-bounds camera. So I made it a point to get one of those 2 frames. And then also, the pausing there was to show you that the camera's still messed up even after you land for a few seconds. Also, when's the last time you seen climbing the giant statue outside of a bingo?
You have to slowly regain ZFG's trust somehow. Accept that.
So the astute chat or viewer would have noticed I never opened the chest with the boss key. When I RBA'd the light arrows, it gave me the boss key. Or when I RBA'd the light arrows with bugs, that gave me the boss key and I think dungeon map. No, compass. For Spirit Temple. And then ice arrows gave it to me for Water Temple.
Alright, this will be another bathroom break if you don't want to watch this Iron Knuckle fight. ZFG already can't watch the Iron Knuckle fight. He has tears obscuring his vision.
Okay.
I'm disappointed. I was expecting another Iron Knuckle.
Don't worry, there's another reason to be disappointed. I didn't do the Nibiru CS skip.
Aww.
I tried it like 5 or 6 times, but Nibiru kept getting stuck. And I tried the thing where you go away from the wall to get her to not get stuck, and that didn't work. So I just gave up and just didn't do it. Again, I was under a very big time crunch to get it done in time for today. So some things had to go.
This is the cost of reverse boss order.
You can't just backwalk into that door. You have to be facing it so you can like anticipate how big of a boss battle is about to come.
Is Twin Rova that big?
No, I just thought the Z-slide there would be really cool.
It's actually my least favorite boss fight in the entire game, I think. At least the first phase. I never liked the first phase. It's just stupid for no reason. Are you gonna do the invisible Twin Rova glitch?
I hope so.
I debated doing it, but I didn't want to. But I don't know if it's possible to do that and get a 1 cycle.
It's not.
No, you had to have 2 cycles.
And you'd have to sit there for 8 minutes.
And ZFG would not let me read Sonic High School. He would not allow it.
Once
I mean,
is enough.
I debated just doing it, but then not waiting the 8 minutes, just setting it up, just for the lulz. But I decided against it and just opted for the 1 cycle. Besides, the Spirit's Chamber of Sages CS skip I do is by far the hardest of all of them in the run, and so I didn't want to like do both of those.
So here's a theoretical question: if Twinrova Phase 1 and Phase 2 were considered different bosses, would it be possible to do Phase 2 before Phase 1?
No, I don't think there's any known way to do that.
There would have to be some type of flag. In order for that to be possible, there would have to be some type of flag that would be manipulatable. To my knowledge, there is no such flag, and I haven't looked into it, but I'm basing that on the fact that when you die during Phase 2, you still have to redo Phase 1. So that to me suggests it's not a flag that can be manipulated. Second off, the only way I know of to be able to manipulate such a flag would be through a high item RBA, so like item 200 or something really high like that. But that doesn't go above flags for Forest Temple, to my knowledge. Or Fire Temple, I don't remember. But it definitely doesn't reach Spirit Temple flags.
Alright, so when Reverse Boss Order TAS is redone, you'll have to find that trick to do Twinrova Phase 2 first.
I mean, I really actually wanted to do instead Reverse Boss and Mini Boss Order. However, I don't know of a way to activate the Meg fight before the other 3 Post Sisters.
I'll be very upset if we have to watch, what is it called? Blue Warp cutscenes.
Don't worry, I skip every single blue. No, I do not. Do I skip? There's one Blue Warp CS one Blue Warp cutscene I do not skip. That is not Spirits.
Which Blue Warp?
Aw.
Stay tuned.
So this is by far the hardest cutscene skip. It's literally walk into the Blue Warp.
Interesting.
Wait a minute.
So hard you can't even do it.
So,
Whoa.
to explain why the cutscene was skipped, earlier when I was doing the adult trade item RBAs, I RBA'd the Spirit and Shadow Medallion for Lax. Now, Spirit and Shadow Temple are unique in that their flag.
Oh my god.
Yes, I spent a while manipulating this bomb luck because I wanted to reduce that as much as possible, or reduce farming as much as possible. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, Spirit and Shadow are unique in that the flag to play the Chamber of Sages cutscene is tied to whether or not you have the medallion, as opposed to all of the others where it's a separate flag. So because I have those 2 medallions, I can just walk into the Blue Warp and I don't have to do any stupid skip.
Yeah, that was a very pleasant surprise, that cutscene skip.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
It's okay, I did too.
Well, I'm glad you didn't, like, do the whole skip and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, I could have just walked into the Blue Warp.
I spent forever trying to do the skip and then I gave up, so I just went into the Blue Warp and the cutscene didn't play and I was really confused for a little bit.
That is a good story. That's some good lore.
Also, with the pause screen, you may have noticed that on the screen with tunics, shields, that part of the pause screen, there's a flickering triangle. I don't know what caused that. It's something with my graphics plugin.
Yeah, it's caused by having something duped over your Deconet slot. I'm not sure if it's specific to the Deconet slot, but it has to do with having duped bottles at the very least. So it's not an emulator glitch. It works. It happens on every version.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was an emulator glitch. Again, this is an example of me loading the state slightly later than before. And this is what a task would, or this is how a task would do, or this is what a LOTAD of boat skip looks like.
I'm excited for this. Anything that is prefaced with "this is what a LOTAD looks like," that's how you know it's gonna be good.
Also, you'll notice I shield dropped a Chew out of bounds, and the game didn't crash. That is because that specific part of the room is actually over a floor, so the crashing part of shield dropping an out of bounds Chew does not apply if there's ground below you. But yeah, that was boat skip with as few pauses as possible.
Anything that's prefaced with as few pauses as possible, I like. I guess I was suffixed with that, but whatever.
Nice boat skip.
Wait, did ZFG? Did you just get the boat skip?
No, you just got in the boss room. Doing the cutscene, doing the bongo fight, right? You just landed on the drum.
Yeah. Okay, we are in sync then. Sorry, for a second I thought like I was like 3 minutes ahead of you, or a minute ahead of you for whatever reason.
That was a good bongo fight.
Yeah, that's
This
pretty
is
fast.
1.0 only, right?
1.0
Yeah.
and 1.1.
And 64 only, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And 64 Master Race.
So why does that work?
The bongo's hitbox is loaded there, and you can drop a bomb and have it explode, which stuns bongo and
Yeah, it's
skips
just like,
the CS because.
yeah, pretty much. Ooh, got those arrows just in time.
Yeah, that took like 4 or 5 tries to roll there in time.
This cutscene better be skipped. You set high expectations for me.
That is the last one where I can just walk in to
Oh
skip
my
the
god.
CS.
That was nice.
Oh, about the boat skip. You know how sometimes when you're trying to get pot ISG, like you'll break the pot?
Yeah.
ZFG? So I figured out why that happens. It's because you haven't moved fully back from crouch or from slashing the wall.
Yeah, that's what I
So
thought it was.
when I was initially doing it, I started ESS turning mid slash, so I started turning on the first possible frame. That would always break the pot. This was waiting 1 frame, or doing it 1 frame after possible, or after the first frame possible, which meant it looked like I was hitting the pot, but it didn't break. Also, this is why I couldn't pick up this, even if I wanted to, I couldn't pick up Silver Gauntlets because that Super Side Teleport would not work if I have Strength Upgrade.
It's a good thing you didn't pick up those silver gauntlets. I know
Yeah.
they were tempting.
That Super Slide Teleport works the same way as the Super Slide Teleport in Shadow Temple to get to Shadow Temple early. It's just you go under the ground instead of over the air.
Now I know what you're thinking. How are we gonna get to Morpho? Oh wait, what?
I RBA'd Ice Arrows that gave me Water Temple, BK, and Compass.
Good thing you got the compass.
How would I know where to go without the compass?
Yeah, so the Shadow and Spear Medallion cutscenes, they were skipped because he already had the medallions in the inventory.
Water, Fire, Forest, and the 3 Child Dungeons do not work the same way, so I have to do some type of CS skip, whether I use Theor's Wind on the Blue Warp, or I die, or do something.
Just link this video to anyone that ever said that they got confused by the water temple as a kid.
No, I'm not triggered by the Goron Tunic. Goron Tunic is fine. Kukiri Tunic's better, but Goron's fine.
You know this is a LOTAD.
Gotta make sure.
Before I realized the desync, I actually had a somewhat decent Morpho fight, but after that desync yesterday, I kind of just wanted to get this done.
Alright, he's damaging himself, that's a good sign.
That is dangerously close to the wall. If I did that in a run, I would be very scared.
Wait, why?
The fish can drop out of bounds if you're too
Wait,
close.
really?
Yeah. You were like literally pixels away from that fish going out of bounds.
I did not know that.
Alright, this is the first cutscene skip, so ZFG, what is a cutscene skip?
So, if you do the Ocarina items glitch on the edge of a blue warp, you're able to walk around while the blue warp is supposed to be starting the cutscene. And if you die at the right time, you'll start the cutscene at the same time the game over screen is going on, and you'll skip the cutscene but get the medallion. So that's boss number 5.
Although I can't remember if I already had water medallion or not from RBA.
You did RBA with bugs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, then you had it.
Also,
But again,
I skipped.
it doesn't skip the cutscene just because you have the water medallion, like it does for Shadow and Spirit.
Oh yeah, MZX is right. We did skip the credits cutscene.
Oh yeah.
So, you may have noticed the next one on the list is Fire Temple, but I played Nocturne. The reason for that is I skipped Bolero earlier because Bolero would have gotten deleted by RBA. Although in hindsight, it probably would have been faster to do like Deathless Bolero skip and then just let Bolero be deleted. But I just skip it both times.
If we get more gameplay out of it, it's fine with me. More nervous Hesses.
So like I said earlier, this is part of the section that I had to very quickly do. So a lot of the Hesses you will see are just from an old script I have that will do Hesses on the flat ground, which is why I went up to that ramp instead of like trying to do it with the chew while backwalking up the beginning part of the ramp.
Next time you gotta be like, you see that like part where I Hess really slowly? I thought that looked really cool, so I purposely did that.
Oh, I was actually just about to say that.
Painstakingly spent hours getting the perfect inputs.
So this is what an A slide looks like when you're not using it for a weird shot. And that's a Z slide.
Nice wall climbing.
It wasn't completely optimal because I know I had to dodge a couple Scopolas, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but no one could see that, so it was okay.
I mean, you can see the shadow.
What are you talking about? Everyone in ZFG's chat knows.
You don't tell them about it though.
They know.
As far as they know, that was optimal.
What am I saying? That the fact that Link wasn't on screen, it reduced lag, so it was actually like 5 frames faster than it could have been, or some BS. So when I was blowing up the rock before the A slide, I damage buffered with a bottle with fish. That was for Fire Temple Wrong Work, but it turns out Nocturne as your last cutscene will crash, so I ended up having to save warp anyways.
I don't know about you guys, but I watch LOTADs for the movement. Like, would you rather have ZFG movement for the end, or would you rather have LOTAD movement?
You're
That's
gonna like the movement to get into Fire Temple boss.
Oh, I'm going to like that
then...
movement. I'm going to enjoy every second of that, every frame of that movement.
So you have to at least wait for the first damage, because if you pull a bomb and get ISG, you will take damage before the bomb explodes. So you have to take damage, or so you have to wait for at least the first damage of being on the lava before you can start a hover.
Who here remembers the boss key skip where you fall from the very top and then hover over the loading zone?
That was the coolest boss key skip. That's still one of the coolest tricks in OT, even though it's completely obsolete.
I stopped playing Ocarina of Time because that got removed.
I don't blame you. That's a lot of bottles. Oh my god.
I've never even seen this
I
section of
love
the
this
room.
trick.
I also love this trick, which is why I did it.
Light arrows on Volvagia.
Dude, you should have done it with ice arrows. Ice arrows do double damage on Volvagia.
Wait,
You
really?
do the whole
Yes.
thing.
How did I not know that? I thought ice arrow damage was double damage was, or ice arrow was only like weakness for his bongo.
No, it's actually ice arrows in general do 4 damage, and all of the arrows do 2. Anyway, still it's okay because it's still cool. But yeah, you can do weird shot Volvagia before the fight even starts, and take Volvagia down to 0 damage, but can't kill Volvagia.
I didn't have enough. Oh, I guess if I used ice arrows, I would have had enough for 0 damage, but it's still pretty close.
Oh, okay. Well, close enough. Whatever.
Also, me A-sliding against the wall wasn't like me being an idiot. I just like A-slides.
Alright, I'm excited for this Volvagia fight.
That was pretty fast.
I don't know if putting the bomb down really did any damage, but I mean, I had to waste the time anyways.
And also remember, Fire Temple, everything getting the hammer was done way earlier in the run, part of the setup for getting to Ganon. So that's why he already had the hammer.
Yeah, I needed the hammer because, so I could have gotten, well, I could have done Water Temple Blank Beat, or I could have done Swordless Epona after freeing the guards, but that would have been a lot slower than just getting a hammer and using the hammer for the guards.
We need a counter for how many times Ocarina items is done.
7.
Have you been counting?
It's probably more than 7.
Wait, counting what?
Ocarina items.
Originally, I wanted to do a swordless Pharaoh's Wind Run Warp from Fire because it was a really cool setup that I feel a lot of people don't know about. However, I didn't have time to do it after the desync and having to redo everything over the last day. So that's why I originally got Pharaoh's Wind as an item before going to Fire, but it ended up being useless.
So this killing yourself into the Forest Temple loading zone, that skips Minuet cutscene.
Yes, it skips Minuet.
Alright, there's probably only like 2 or 3 people here that know how to get to Phantom Ganon from this position, so they're about to be in for a treat.
Oh man, the Poe cutscene skip. Saving that 1 second.
He's putting the TA in LOTAD right now. And then he's taking it away immediately.
So like I said, I really would rather do reverse boss and mini boss order, but Meg kind of just screws all that up. So to get my revenge, I hookshot Meg.
I'm sure she
Dang,
didn't
owned.
appreciate that.
Yeah, Meg just got owned so hard.
This order actually makes more sense to fight Ganon's Phantom after fighting Ganon. Like he's just back from the dead or something.
That's part of the lore.
That's the lore. It all makes sense now. Reverse boss order is actually the canon order for Ocarina of Time.
This entire fight is a reference to Super Mario 64.
Whoa. Oh man, the child dungeons are coming up next.
They better all be done as adult. Don't sway me if they're not, or if they are.
You already know the answer to that, Kita. I told you it like 4 hours ago.
As if I read that.
HDQ raid, yes, this is a very bad any percent run. So I have the bottled fish, and I tried to use the 3 bombs to get 5 hits of damage using the fish to damage buffer, but I just couldn't get it for whatever reason.
Actually, was Ocarina used once in this entire run?
It was used for Minuet causing skip.
Yeah, it was used for that, and it was also used for the archery run warp.
Alright, so
This is also
3
used right
bosses
there.
left.
Ocarina was also used right there.
Nice. Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going?
Yeah, 7 years ago was that way. You're going the wrong way.
Turn around, dude.
Well, knowing how the rest of this run went, he's gonna be like, oh yeah, I had to go child. But I included this section just for the fun of it.
Oh, I remember. So this was another route change. I was going to do something here in Hyrule Field and then get RBA, but after spending like almost an hour trying to get this one thing to work, I couldn't, so I just decided not to do it. But I forgot that I could have done like Bottle on B, I think in the Ganon Castle courtyard area would have been a lot faster.
Does it look like we care about speed?
I mean, I've tried getting Bottle on B in Ganon's Castle area, and it's like literally impossible. The slopes are terrible there.
Finally, we have everything we need to open the door of time.
We've had everything to open the door of time for a while now.
But we were really nervous.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Link finally found the courage to open the door of time.
If you hate doors, be sure to check out nodoorstas.com. There's still interesting glitches left, for certain, so... That was good. I'm glad that was... Thank you.
There technically is a way to skip this cutscene using hover boots and a crouch stab. I just didn't have time to do it because I don't know the trick off the top of my head. And I didn't have the time to learn it to do it. Also, we are literally learning Prelude even though we've already used it in this run.
That's the salt in the wound. So with all this stuff, I'm assuming that you're going to do the rest of the dungeons glitchless?
Rest of the dungeon is glitchless. This has been entirely glitchless.
That answers my
Good.
question.
My favorite category is glitchless child dungeons, so I'm gonna like this.
Also, for everyone that was hoping for adult Jabu, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
There was still time for me to be disappointed later. You could have just been going child to get boomerang and then coming back to adult. Now I'm just wondering how you're going to get through this section without DQ shield.
Oh, that actually, I was actually just thinking, why didn't I play Serenade and do the ground clip? I don't have a shield.
I like that the gate is still up because I didn't go through the original way.
Wait, there's an owl there.
There's no owl until you actually get Sorry Song.
Oh, that explains it. Never mind.
Why is there so little guano walking in this?
There is an owl there, so I just targeted Chu to prevent the owl from talking to me.
The owl skip with the chew is actually the best trick in the game.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Dude, anti-grab's a much better trick.
There's a lot of cool tricks, man.
Also bringing back the classic Aqua Escape.
2012 Shreds.
Dude, that was the first trick I ever learned in this game.
So do we have to open up this lullaby, or are we keeping with the whole glitchless thing?
You could use a chew to mega side hop in. It's just like I said, I was very short on time to get this done by today, or to get this done by the time we agreed to stream this. So I just opened it.
Well, the cutscene's so long, you could have mega side hop. You could have had like 20 attempts at the mega side hop. Could have hovered in.
You're right that the mega side hop would have been faster in game, or in the terms of number of frames in the game. However, if you're bad at them like me, it would take a lot longer to keep attempting it until you get it. Otherwise, or compared to like just playing ZL.
Alright, now it's time for my favorite dungeon.
There better be at least one polarizing trick in this temple, dungeon, whatever.
I don't do the mega flip. What is it? Mega flip, big octo skip. I do.
That'll be my hint.
I do something, in my opinion, that's a lot cooler than that, although slower.
That'll be everyone else's hint.
Petrie, my big octo skip is actually fighting big octo. You guess it right, nail on the head, or head on the nail, whatever it is.
The classic big octo skip.
The only thing that can make this better is if you just like talk to every NPC and just like acknowledge what they say. Do the side quests, collect some rupees. Alright, now we're about to skip him.
I mean, I could have done that, but then I wouldn't be able to open the door. When you're in GIM, certain doors, like the ones in Jabu, just can't be opened. And then I don't know if I would be able to re-raise the water level using the switch to cancel GIM. Also,
Oh my god, these dodges.
See if he just tricked everyone into watching his Let's Play series. Is this the vibrating Rudo room?
this is that room, but there is no Vibruto because Ruto is not in here.
I was just gonna thank you for not doing that.
Also, you may be wondering why I'm killing these guys with chews instead of like Deku Nut or Deku Nuts and slashing them.
Could it be that you may want to have a specific number of chews?
I just didn't want to. Originally, I just didn't want to use Deku Nuts, but then the number just ended up working perfectly.
How convenient.
You never know. Like, any given thing in this run, it could either be heavily calculated or just because. Constantly on your toes.
What's gonna happen here? Oh my god.
I don't see anything out of the ordinary. But for those that do, here's what's happening. I'm not actually going to explain this. Someone else can.
The little jellyfish is called a Beery, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so whenever you shield a Beery, it gets raised up. However, if you have ISG, you can use that to stick in the air, like how ISG normally works with the Poe or bombs or shoes or whatever. But you can also then re-backflip to hit the Beery again, which basically means if you're up against a wall and have a Beery next to you, you can just hover straight up.
I do appreciate that you didn't make the platform go down after that. You just jumped directly in.
Also, I'm really bad at the strat where you just side hop and throw the boomerang, so I just climbed up.
Okay, that crossed the lines. ZFG is pissed.
Oh yeah, I'm so mad.
I like that boomerang throw. You have to keep it honest. You have to keep it really honest. Oh, this is good. Okay. I remember one time watching the, what was it? Let's Play series by Full Grown Gaming. So this boss fight is actually a reference to that.
Oh.
This challenge doubles as the 3-heart challenge. We don't need any heart containers.
There is technically a way to skip this CS cut or this blue warp cutscene. It is a wrong warp, however, Getting the fairy and then like damaging yourself and doing all that just to do it is really slow.
Yeah, the whole setup is slower than the cutscene itself. The cutscene itself honestly isn't that short, or isn't that long.
Although you can use that realm warp to go directly to the Dodongo's Cavern boss. However, to my knowledge, there's no way to do the clip required to get to the fake door. Or the fake door back into regular Jabu, which is required for the realm warp to DC boss.
Hardest boss in the game is next. I'm just hoping for at least like one surprise glitch in each of the remaining dungeons.
There is certainly a surprise in each of the remaining dungeons.
That's enough for me.
Oh.
I know ZFG loves surprises, so it's enough for him too.
Hey, what's that on the B button?
You tell me. I don't actually know anything about this game.
When I went to child, I had when I was adult going to child, I had a bottle on my B button. And when I became child, when I was child, I equipped Poe to see right. So just like how RBA allows you to take the value on C right and a bottle into the B button and manipulate your inventory, Bottle Inventor, which is the reverse of RBA, lets you take items from your inventory and manipulate your B button. So in this case, I used a pull on my C right button plus 13 13 bomb shoes to put Failur's Wind on my B button.
I like how you said BA is the reverse of RBA. It's the reverse of the reverse. Goes well with the reverse boss order.
Double negatives, man.
Also, no one's allowed to complain about this movement. When you think of LOTAD, it needs this. Like, it's a demonstration. And I think that's as honest as Link is. Why'd you enter Link's house?
I needed to set Failur's Wind as leaving Link's house.
Okay, one of the few random fun facts I know about this game is that the boulder normally blocking Dodongo's cavern is just never there as adult.
Yep.
Also, you should have got blue fire for this room.
Oh, nice cutscene.
I actually should have.
Yeah.
Also, oh wait, never mind. I was gonna say I could get blue fire and do the CS skip, but I just realized why that wouldn't work. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Does anyone actually know why that Navitex keeps the door open?
From my understanding, what happens is that the game is activating two cutscenes at once, the Navi text and the door opening, and then by canceling the Navi text, you gain control while the cutscene of the door opening is happening. So you basically have control during the cutscene, and so you can walk to it before it closes, because it doesn't close after the cutscenes. It doesn't close until after the cutscene's over.
In my understanding, it's like what he just said, basically the same thing of how the post CS skip works.
I'll accept that. Are you gonna use bomb shoes, right?
I think it's pretty obvious whether or not I'm going to use bomb shoes.
There's still one more phase.
I had to get the bounce off the wall in.
Alright, final boss coming up.
But first is the DC surprise.
Whoa. This isn't the Goron Ruby cutscene.
Also, this is only half of the surprise. The other half is about to come.
The other half is that Saria's in that stump.
No, but that is also a surprise. Not the other half I was talking about.
Everything's a surprise to me. Saria's just really short in this timeline.
Link is also very short in this timeline. Also, the other half of the surprise is Staria's song Take 2.
Even better the
love
second
watching
time.
the same cutscene twice. Only thing better than watching the same cutscene twice is watching the same cutscene 5 times.
Now see, this fits in the lore because like they're like, okay, wait, no, my legs are messed up, reshoot it.
Actually, technically, this is a different cutscene because now Saria is at the front of the stump instead of in the middle of the stump.
All right, let's just watch it a third time where she's like on a different stump altogether.
I mean, Goma is another cutscene one wrong warp. We could watch this 2 more times.
I hope we do. Also, I'm still waiting on those DQ sticks. Unless I already missed it.
No, you haven't. My pause screen says I have 0 Deku sticks, but that's just some weird RBA thing. I still have 2 Deku sticks.
Okay. That is the most important part of this run. Not the Ganon stuff. Not the Ganondorf stuff. The DQ sticks. Stay tuned. Wait, we're not doing DQ as adult?
Nope.
Interesting.
ZFG, off the top of your head, can you think of why I might have gotten Saria song?
You want to do 33 heart pieces?
How does that... No, but how does that relate to 33 heart pieces?
Wait, you didn't see 100% NSR?
I want to show off one more trick. Here's me duping 33
Well, the only other
heartbeats.
thing I can think of for Saria's song might be a timer. Could you be getting a timer? I don't know where you're getting a timer from.
I have 1 boss left. What is the current any percent route?
And we'll end the hint there.
Oh, wait, never mind. Now I know what you mean by 33 heart pieces. I was just being an idiot.
And now we'll really end the hint there. The
So-
viewers at home can now figure this out.
So, again, now that I have Saria song, there's an actual owl there. So, target the bump shoot to avoid it.
Still the best trick.
So he just yelled at you for killing the Deku Tree, right? Deku Tree that you have not entered yet?
I thought that's still the same text of why are you going to the Deku Tree? Oh, you have a sword and
No,
shield.
that
hate
text is
you.
way longer.
Oh, then I don't know.
That just adds to the lore. Oh, it's probably because you have the Kikiri Emerald because you RB'd it.
Alright, Kafta confirmed it.
Yeah.
You know, on my first playthrough of the game, I was able to enter DQ Tree faster than this.
I think most people can enter Deku Tree faster than this.
I actually really like DQ Tree. I want to see what route is used here.
I'm gonna tell you this. Until I leave Deku Tree, you will not guess what is happening. Or what will happen.
Well, I do like surprises. I don't know if ZFG likes surprises, I like surprises.
I love surprises, especially when it comes to OT surprises.
Is this one of the surprises?
No, I just didn't feel like chasing him.
I respect that.
I mean, Link's already fought so many bosses, he's all tired, he doesn't have time to chase random scrubs.
I like the slingshot. I like that we're getting the slingshot. Slingshot's part of the lore. All right, Torhei, take notes. I actually have no idea if Torhei's the record holder or not. Or if that's how you say his name.
It's definitely not how you say his name, but I'm glad you said it anyway.
Okay, I definitely was not expecting this. You got me there.
I just like that trick a lot more than what any percent currently does. Also, I didn't have to break a Deku stick there, but I felt like I had to, or I felt like I should since I got the extra one earlier.
Alright, finally, one of the DQ sticks is explained. But there's still one more unaccounted for. And that DQ stick will change the entire rest of this run. Everything you thought you knew about Ocarina of Time is about to get flip-turned. Alright, final boss. I'm ready to see how the slingshot comes into play.
Alright, the final boss has been defeated.
But wait, there's more.
We still have to get to the credits. So how are we going to get to credits?
That's a good question.
I'm glad you asked. I don't actually know, but I'm glad you asked because it's good to remind people what they should be wondering. And I'm definitely wondering that, so.
So to explain why I'm dropping bugs instead of going through the door to set up Ganon door, and why this is very slow instead of being super optimized or super frame perfect like the previous ones. So like I said, there was a very big desync yesterday, and I had to redo a whole section of this, and I was under a huge time crunch to get this done and encoded and uploaded to YouTube in order to start the stream at 6, the time we agreed upon over yesterday or the Sunday. I don't remember when we agreed upon it. Originally, I was going to do a wrong warp that requires Slingshot and Saria song and the collapse timer. However, I couldn't get that to work in time, so I am doing a different wrong warp to the credits.
Are you gonna use a slingshot anyway?
No, the Slingshot is another item that's just not going to be used.
I'll accept that. It's just a red herring. Like, the viewers watching, you get the slingshot, they're like, okay, how is this going to be used? But it's only to distract them. There's a stick. It's only to distract them.
Also, for those of you wondering what for those of you wondering what the wrong warp I wanted to do was, you can actually wrong warp from Zelda's Courtyard, which requires, to go to the credits requires Saria Song, Collapse Timer, and Slingshot. Alternatively, I could have gotten Boomerang, which I already have, and RBA'd a Big Poe so I could shoot one Deku Seed. However, earlier, before I did BA, why I went to Hyrule Field was I was trying to manipulate a Big Poe. I could get them to spawn, but I don't have regular arrows, and I can't shoot elemental arrows fast enough to kill them. And I tried the bomb tree strat to kill the Big Poe, but I just couldn't get it to work in the time that I had.
I'm so ready for this wrong warp. Assuming it's a wrong warp and not just some legitimate way to access credits, because I still have no idea what the actual method is.
We're just gonna go warp to Ganon and beat Ganon for a second time.
Now that would be disappointing.
Also, this whole section from right after I killed Goma to credits was done like in the breakneck of time. Like when I got this video encoded and on YouTube, it was like half an hour before we needed to start streaming. So like this is very, very unoptimal.
I think in the future we need to change this to like celebration of Zelda glitches so that people stop expecting it to be fast.
Yeah, or just call it like demonstration. Like, not even LOTAD, just demonstration.
Right, because if I'm ever playing Zelda, I play a lot worse than this. Like, I do not have anywhere near good movement. I just like glitches. That is my cup of tea. This is a lot of setup. I'm on the edge of my seat for what this is for.
Any method that I know of to get to Deku Tree as adult, I did not have enough explosives for. The typical one of doing the steam walk up to the twins' house and then hovering over, I think I would have been 1 or 2 explosive shorts. So I had to farm explosives, and then this just seemed like the easiest way of doing it.
Wait, can't you get on the twins' house without any explosives and then use a damage boost?
Oh. How did I forget about that? Yeah, I guess I could have.
Yeah.
Like I said, any way that I could think of at the time, which was like 4 or 5 hours ago.
No, there's a benefit to this, because people aren't used to that. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the first time anyone's ever seen that specific way to get into Deku Tree as adult. I like these hammer drops.
Yeah, so those random hammer swings is, for some reason, if I'm not mistaken, when you like swing Master Sword while you're in like the hover boots, while you have the halo, like your timer immediately gets cut to zero and you just drop. And I was trying to do that with hammer, but I couldn't. I'm not sure if it really worked or not. Whatever.
Also, do you have to buffer in here, or could you theoretically just walk in and do it with one B press?
I could have done it with one B press, however, that takes like a few tries to do, and I just wanted to get this done as fast as possible. Because I mean, you already know because I was letting you know along as I uploaded it, but
Right.
it was like really cutting the wire or cutting it down to the wire.
Time.
And that is reverse boss order.
Woo.
I like the unloaded room part of this.
Yeah, good ending.
Although I did warn you guys like halfway through the run to expect a very sharp decrease in gameplay quality multiple times. So yeah.
Yeah, again, this is just meant as a demonstration. Just to show what a run would look like because it's just kind of too hard to do a run of right now. Alright, you guys got any final words?
I'd like to give exactly one shout out. Kafta. Okay, I'm done.
Alright.
I guess thank you ZFG for hosting this LOTAD. It means a lot to me, and thank you chat for watching it this entire time.
No problem. I'm sure they enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
I
I
enjoyed
really
it.
like glitch roots. That's why every year, February 21st, we had to do one.
Oh no, I enjoyed making it, and it was kind of cool to see how much I could do in such a short amount of time, twice over. First, because I was originally going to get it done in 2 weeks, and then doing half of it in about 26 hours.
Alright, so that was pretty cool. Thanks for having this on, guys.